Awesome, Justin, man. Hey, I really appreciate you coming on. We had Amir on about 2-3 weeks ago, and Amir was so impactful for me. This is the first time I've met Amir, and I met him through Emmett, right? Emmett, down in
I mean,
Florida.
yeah, I mean, and Cheryl, yeah.
Yep. And he was so impactful that, I mean, after that 1 hour conversation, I decided to book a trip to Chicago, go to GrowthCon, and really immerse myself with top lenders and top realtors from across the country. And you guys had quite a few great speakers on. One of the things, though, that I really want to give you, like, my favorite part, truthfully, was hearing your story on how you started to become a loan officer. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, when they see people like yourself, they don't see the hard work that you did to get to where you're at. And I mean, do you mind just kind of talking a little bit about the beginnings, just to give people an idea, and do whatever you feel is right? But I was so, like, when you were talking, I was like, that's exactly what it's like to get started. It was just hard work, rolling up the sleeves, and just getting going.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, it's good to be here. Obviously, thank you so much. It's nice to kind of, see everyone's physical or virtual headshot here. But yeah, I mean, I'll give you the paraphrase version. I left college at 19, basically before my freshman year was up, after my first semester, because I wanted to be a trader. So I went down. I was at the Chicago Board of Trade. It didn't work out, and I knew that I did not want to trade dollars for hours. I learned that it was impossible to make the type of money I saw going back to school and getting a degree in something that I had no idea, what I wanted to do. Right. So fast forward, I found my way into the mortgage business after understanding that some of the highest paid professionals in the country are top salespeople. And essentially, I had no idea what I'd really be doing. And I was telemarketing. I was a glorified telemarketer. I would make a few hundred calls a day minimum, Monday through Friday and on Saturdays. And I was 22 at the time. I already bought a condo. I had 3 years at the Board of Trade. So, it was kind of like, I had a little bit of an ego, like, I'm making money, making 60 grand a year. And, I'm like, I'm not going back to school. And so, but the short story is I ended up being a really driven, committed telemarketer that was called a loan officer. And I did, within 90 days, I got up to 4 or 5 deals a month. I was, it was all refinances. I was making, 10, 15 grand a month at 22, 23. And I still had no idea what I was doing. I did, but I didn't. I was 22, 23 years old. I had my own house, and I didn't even know how I got my mortgage, because I got it before I even started. So it was a stated loan. It was a horrible loan. But I did that from 2006 to pretty much till the full market crash, like, took everyone out, because we were a broker. So we saw our roster of lenders just shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. But, like, some of the things I mentioned was, like, I was supporting my family. I had a big, I had just some stuff going on in my life and personal things with my parents. And I was the breadwinner at 21, 22 for my entire family. So I was just very driven. And I was like, wait, if I make more calls and put in more hours, I can get more deals, and I can literally control, if I wanted to go on vacation, I'd make more calls and work Saturday. I'd pick up an extra deal. And this is when I drive out to everyone's house and bring them their loan documents. So it was such a manual labor of make hundreds of calls from 9 to 6. And then after, the people that you needed to go loan app, you drove out there and you got them to sign their documents and collect their financials and make copies. And you went back for the refi closing with the notary. It was just such a archaic business model.
Yeah.
But we did it for 5-6 years. And then we started buying leads, LendingTree and lowermybills.com. And we started to understand what it was like to do a purchase and actually become consultative advisors and really think through debt to income ratios when all the Dodd-Frank stuff changed. And, fast forward, we became correspondent lenders right around 2012, 2013. And I got exposed to, doing 5, 7, sometimes 8, maybe 8 or 9 deals a month, making 3 or 4 grand a pop. I mean, do the math, like, it was good money. And then we took some steps backwards. And then I went to this, like, correspondent regional bank in Chicago, and I saw guys doing 30, 40, 50. There was a $100 million person there. And I was like, 100 million. Back in the day, like, you didn't really track your volume. It was just like deals and commission.
Yep.
And I didn't really even I didn't understand that. And then I started to see that I was a small fish in a big pond, but I was super driven, super competitive, super motivated. And that's what led me to find out, where are the best people learning? How are they learning? What systems are they implementing? How do you take care of your database? How do you build out your schedule? Because at some point you just plateau. Sheer effort will only take you so far, and then you'll just plateau or you'll burn out. And so, yeah, I went on this journey of personal development. I'm like, you know what? I didn't get my college degree, and my wife has her master's. I said, I'm going to get my MBA in this damn business. I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to, make sure that I'm learning from the best people out there. And I sought out different coaching programs, and Amir and I had been working together since day one. So he taught me the business.
Really?
So he and I went to different coaching programs, and we share what we learned, and and eventually, we consolidated and went to one coaching company, learned a ton of great tools and tactics, and we went from 20 to 40 to 60 to 80 to 100. And in 2021, I did about 175 million, and that was just my production, like just with my my LOA and like 2 processors. I did about 400 units, and it was a culmination of everything that I had learned and everything I had done, and the inflection point of rates dropping, right? And so backtrack to 2020, when things went remote in Chicago, and every city was different. It was amazing. Like I was making $1 million a year in my flip-flops and my shorts at home with my kids. I got 2 young kids. I'm like, this is amazing. I can take calls whenever I want. And then it sucked. And then it was like, I miss my crew. I miss my guys. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the chit chat. I miss taking people out to coffee. I miss like the hunt and the kill. And that's what made me realize, like, there is a need for community. There is a need for, I still wanted to be learning. I was interviewing other coaches. I'm like, where does $100 million guy go to get to 250?
Yeah.
What's my next move? Like, I don't want to be a regional manager and recruit people. Like I love producing. I love the relationships. I don't want to talk to every buyer at 4:30 on Friday afternoon, but I want to build and scale and get to 250, get to $500 million, get to $1 billion, because I've seen it at my company. I'm like, if that guy can do it, I can do it. What does he know that I don't know? Right. And what I realized was there was a void in the coaching business. And I don't say that to derogate anyone, but I realized that it was the same, call 40 realtors on Monday, the same, whatever. And so I said, this is an opportunity. And I and Amir are qualified to teach the people that we used to be. And we are very progressive and innovative and integrating social media and scaling and bringing, and we're doing things that some people are doing, but it's not packaged up and taught, right? And so we mastermind for 6 months, and we basically built out a coaching protocol and took all the things that we've loved and learned and have really been helpful in sales, ops, and finance, and then we integrated what we call the modern systems of sales. What modern, and modern is not to say someone's young or old. It's modern business, right. Technology, social media, video. One-to-many sales. How can you reach as many people as possible, become multi-market, scale your business in the most efficient and effective way possible? Right. And we invested a lot of time and resources to just learn and really refine and package that up into teachable systems and frameworks and strategies. So that's kind of in a nutshell how we got to today.
The growth only. So you work at Guaranteed Rate, and you and Amir own growth only coaching. Right.
Correct. Yeah. So Amir and I, we are our brand. So Amir and I both moved out of Chicago 2 years ago, but we're born and raised Chicago guys through and through. I picked up and went to Florida. When everything shut down, I'm like, I'm not sitting in Chicago. The sun sets at 4:30 for 6 months. I'm like, I wake up, it's dark. I go to bed, it's dark. I'm like, this is horrible. But between us, we oversee a couple branches. We oversee about $1 billion in origination, including our own. And so now we own and operate and founded Growth Only Coaching, which is quickly becoming the top loan officer coaching program in the country. We got about 140, 150 loan officers. We're launching a realtor vertical later this year, and we're launching a media division later this year, where we're going to have growth only coaching for realtors, and we're going to have growth only. The acronym is Go Media, where we're going to bring on in-house content creators, video producers, and we're going to help people get traditional sales, right? Face-to-face phone call. We're going to help people understand how to grow, on the modern end, from a modern standpoint, right. And then give them not only tell them what to do, but give them the tools and the resources and modules, like, done for you and done with you style, to where we can now help people, because people want to do video, they want to create content, but they don't know where to start. They don't know how to batch it. They don't know how to write scripts. They don't know what works, what doesn't work. So it's like, well, let's build that out for people and give them more.
That's huge. Yeah. And I can, before we go on to that, like, what do you think for new loan officers, right? There's that old school pick up the phone, dial, add value. And then
Mhm.
there's the modern loan officer, right? And that modern loan officer is, well, I'm going to let you describe what the modern loan officer, because that's your guys' definition. Where do you think that old school fits today? Like if you were a new loan officer, or if you had a new loan officer, would you recommend making 200 calls a day? I think it was 100 calls a day you were making 5 days a week and just doing massive action. What would be your just recommendation?
Yeah, Fed just raised rates quarter point. It's a
Got
healthy
the
dose of both. It's a healthy dose of both, meaning to really reach your potential and to scale your business efficiently and effectively,
yeah,
you can't not meet and see people and have that human interaction, right?
right.
The power of in-person sales and phone sales will never diminish, in my opinion. However, if you want to really grow fast, you also have to get your product on more shelves. You're the product. I'm the product. I need to be on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I need to have videos out there on BombBomb. I need to be communicating and building rapport and trust with more people faster. So because the attention and the ability to connect with people is more difficult, because people's attention is now here on their phone, right? And so, well, I need to be on their phone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not running commercials. I'm not on a park bench anymore. I'm not on a billboard. I'm where the consumer's attention is, which is on my phone, which is on their phone.
Right.
And, certain people love LinkedIn. Millennials love TikTok, right? My demographic loves Instagram. A lot of people are still on Facebook. People want to research 6 to 12 months out, or are watching long form content on YouTube. I don't care. I want to help them all, right? And family formation, right? Like, millennials are going to be 50+% of the workforce by 2025. There's 66 million millennials like forming families, something along those lines, right? Shout out to Barry Habib. Like, go where the puck is, and that's where it's going to be. And so to reach that many people at scale, you have to market to them and to grow your audience using multiple like methods and systems.
Yeah.
But you can't deviate from the phone call, the human touch. You got to do both. It's a healthy combination of both.
I love it. Yeah. And I got to tell you, I think, as I talked to a lot of different coaching people, I was core. And I think
Yeah.
I don't know if were you core as well?
Yeah, Amir and I were at the core for 2 years. I mean, I would say that was my favorite coaching company I was at. Yeah.
Me too. And I did feel, and I have someone, and by the way, when I say this is not a criticism of them, because poor people know they do very well. So you can't really criticize. But I love your guys' addition to it. I love that modern take. In fact, do you mind, because Amir, when he was sharing, he was talking about when people go to your Facebook page, it's really like going into your store. And I didn't quite understand that. And I would really thought a lot about it. And I looked at my Facebook page, and it's like a picture of 20 years ago. No, I mean, if you went to my page, you'd have no idea what I do. Can I share your page real quick? Because I thought it was magnificent.
Please. Sure.
So here is your Facebook page. I mean, this is probably, can you see it? Is it up there?
Yeah.
Serving home buyers, empowering realtors. We're coaching other lenders to do the same. That tells me exactly what you do.
Yeah.
That is great. I just got to give you that. That is wonderful, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question,
That's awesome.
The analogy is, this is your virtual storefront, right? So each of us, doesn't matter what company you work with, we're self-employed. We run a business on a platform, right?
Mhm.
So picture the mall, right? 20 years ago, you go to the mall.
Yep.
Right? Now you buy almost everything, if you need to, from your phone, right? And so the mall is now our phone. Our phone is where the consumers are at. And by our phone, I mean, they're on different platforms. They're browsing on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. They're browsing everywhere. They're reading, they're learning, they're shopping, they're getting target ads. The point is if someone's in the mall on Facebook, and they see you, right? They've just looked in your store. Yep. If you don't have a banner, a professional headshot, not your NMLS 2222, if it's not very clear what you do, it's like someone walking into a store, no one greets them, the lights are off, and there's no sign. I don't know what you do. I'm going to keep walking. Right. So your virtual storefront is people's first perception of you, and it's got to have a sharp picture. And by sharp, it means professional, updated, right? I always bring this joke up. I got a guy that we coach. He's in like Oklahoma or something, Alabama. And I'm totally pro hunting, like whatever, but he's like a big hunter guy. Right. And like, When he came on board, I'm looking at his profile. I'm like, dude, you're literally holding a dead deer, like on your, like, what if your next client works for PETA? Like, you're
Right.
done, right? There could be 50. So keep the politics, keep the religion, keep the, the controversial stuff off.
Right.
Have a professional headshot, have a tagline. I help homeowners make great decisions. I educate first-time buyers. I, do X, Y, and Z, right? I help homeowners and I serve realtors because I want to attract both people, right? So that's the whole essence of it. Now people know what I do. And it doesn't say NMLS 225, like no one knows what that means. Like that can be buried somewhere else, but no one's teaching people how to brand themselves and market themselves correctly. Because guess what? When someone Googles you, for most people, your website is not what pops up first anymore.
Mhm.
It's social media, it's LinkedIn, it could be like Zillow or Google reviews. Google yourself, right? Sometimes it's your website. For most people, it's not. Your website could be 1, 2, or 3 notches down. Well, when someone refers Paul or someone refers Justin or Emmett, guess what most people do? They Google you. And if they see a picture of you holding a dead deer head, and like that's the first impression they have of you, or it's like some confusing 20-year-old photo, or it's just nothing.
Right.
And then they look at someone like me, right? Like, not to say that in an arrogant way, they're like, holy shit, this guy's professional. Like, this is probably someone I feel comfortable working with. And, and like, I know exactly what he does. I want to be educated. I'm a first-time home buyer. This makes sense.
That's beautiful.
Right. And so that's the essence that we want people to understand is you have to brand yourself, and people's first impression will impact your credibility before they might even speak to you.
All right, let me mute some people. Now, a lot of people, though, when they look at their social media, and by the way, I'm totally bought onto you and what you're saying, but a lot of people have this thing like they want to be themselves, right?
Yeah.
That they want, I don't know, what's that word I'm looking for?
What, authentic or different?
Yeah, authentic, different. I think different, right? And so they resist to that type of change. But I have to tell you, though, it doesn't even matter. I think your website's awesome. I'm going to do the same.
Listen.
I mean,
I'm not saying that it has to mirror what I'm doing,
right?
But the concept,
right,
of making it easy. Listen, you need to make it easier for people to find you and know what you do.
Right.
If it's confusing, confusion stops decisions. It is a roadblock. You want as little friction as possible, and you want to be able to attract more people. And that's the essence of it, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to be some suited up guy with a blazer on like me, but like have a picture so people know who you are. Have a tagline, have a banner of your slogan or your company name. Like, make it clear so when people walk by your store, they know what you do, and they feel like they've been greeted, and they may be open to doing business with you versus like just scrolling right by you and walking to the next door,
And I think like when you go onto your Facebook page, not only is it very clear what you do, but then you scroll down and you have some great videos, because I listened to quite a few of them. And yeah, I would really love, I mean, how do you, and this is the title of this interview, consume, create, and leverage. And by the way, the second big takeaway is I was never intentional with my videos in leveraging videos. I've never done, I just put them out there and just hope. And I just, that was such a huge takeaway. So I'm really excited to learn how you consume, create, and leverage videos. So let's start with consume.
Yeah, so this is not just videos. Videos are a part of the, videos are another tool in the toolbox, right?
Okay.
But just in context of this meeting, when you and I spoke, you said, hey, what's something of value that you can really share with your crew? And I said, I'm actually gonna be talking about this at GrowthCon, and I don't know if I told you that verbatim, but like this is something I learned about 2 years ago, and it's essentially, I call it social selling. Right. Mm-hmm. So you talked about, does it make sense to have phone calls and meetings and events? Absolutely. You have to do that. But you also have to be social selling every single day if you really want to grow fast. And by fast, I mean, if you want to get to your goals in 2 to 3 years instead of 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. Get in front of more people, get your product on more shelves. So when I didn't know anything, I just winged it. Some days I felt like posting. Some days I was embarrassed. Right. Some days I felt confident in what I was going to talk about. Some days I didn't. Right. Some weeks I had 3 posts, some weeks I had 0 posts, and the inconsistency led to nothing. Right? I'm like, I did a video. Why aren't people calling me? Right? And what I realized was only 10 to 20% of my audience actually saw my content. And that most of the content and video that gets published on your page and on Instagram, for example, goes to non-followers. And if it picks up and people are liking it or viewing it, the algorithm will start to show more of your followers. So before I jump into the framework, I think that's, that's something important to know, is that we make content for the people we want to attract. And it's like an incubation system to get them into your web to demonstrate to an audience that you know what you're talking about. And if they're interested in buying, selling, refinancing, or what have you, that you should be someone that they should listen to. It's not so that they can call you right away and do a deal with you. It's so you can build trust. And the fastest way to build trust in general is, like, via content, is video consistently, because people get to know you after watching 2 or 3 videos. They know your voice, they know your tone, they know your mannerisms, and they make a decision. I like this guy, or I don't. I think what he's saying is useful, or I think it's dumb. I agree with him, or I disagree with you, right? And that's okay.
Right.
And so when I learned that, I said, wow, get out of your own way, Justin. Just teach people what you know, what you've been doing for the last 15, 16 years. And if it's quality and if it's consistent, the right people will find you.
Right.
And now, and like, okay, well, that makes sense. Now it's like, okay, well, how do I do that? Right. And how do I do videos, and how do I post, and how do I, think? So number one, I think what's important for people is, you have to really identify who you're talking to. Like, you never want to be the jack of all trades, because then it's too hard to build a niche or a niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say niche, people say niche. You want to be able to really communicate with the person that's sitting on the couch, scratching their head going, I don't know where to start. Right. And they're sitting next to their spouse or their partner, and they're just doing one of these. I don't, should we buy a home? I don't know. And all of a sudden they see a video, or they see something on YouTube, or they see a message on whatever it is, LinkedIn, right? Long form, short form, whatever. That's really how we start to build community, and how we start to build engagement, is by talking to that one person that you can help. Whether it's a first-time home buyer, a move-up buyer, a luxury buyer, an FHA buyer, a veteran buyer, whatever you do well, right? Down payment assistance, whatever, right? So once you have a little bit more clarity on who you want to talk to, it gives you a little bit more structure on what type of messaging you should be giving to people, right? And again, this is before I jump into my actual framework that I'll share with you guys. But these are just tips for people to really help them get out of their own way and go, look, I can answer more, like, I forgot more stuff about this business, you know what I mean? Than like people even, it's like, the questions they're going to ask you, right. You know what you should be talking about, because it's the same conversation you have with every single buyer on day one. You talk about income, you talk about credit, you talk about assets, you talk about closing costs, you talk about DTI, you talk about the timelines, you talk about building credit, you talk about, right, like different loan options. I mean, you can literally take one topic and you can expand on it in 15 different directions, and have like that, like thinking about the conversations that you have with every buyer or every person that wants a refi, and breaking them down from like a 1003 standpoint, right? Why do we need 2 years of employment? How do you buy your first home? Like, talk to me about FHA. What's the difference between a 2-unit and a 3-unit? What's jumbo? What's conventional? What is VA, right? You can make 1,500 different pieces of content just if you stop and thought about every single question that people have, and realize that they know nothing. They literally know nothing compared to what we know. But we know so much, we don't realize how much we know and how quality and how important it is. And so we really have to dumb it down, right? So that's just a little bit of, like, I don't know, context and helpful insight.
No, man, I think it's huge, man. I think 2 like things you said that made me feel like at ease a little bit is that when you say build your business fast, right? It's 2 to 3 years, not 10.
Yeah.
So that takes the pressure off a little bit, because the second thing is, like, my goal is when I send a video out, I like wait for my DM messages or whatever it's called to start pinging and nobody reaches out. But that's not the true goal. The true goal.
That's not the goal.
Thank you for that. That is
huge. The goal is to build
community,
to grow your brand, to become more visible. Because what's up, Emmett? Because as Amir and I say, right now, your ability is no longer as important as your visibility.
Right.
None of you guys can do a loan better than me. I can't do a loan better than you. The guy that started 6 months ago probably has a great processor that can do a loan just as good as all of us.
Totally.
Well, guess what? My ability doesn't really matter as much anymore.
That's awesome. So
it does, but you get the point. So your visibility, being seen, being known, being visible to your clients, to your current realtors, to people you want to attract, putting your product on different shelves, That's really how you can grow your business, like turbocharged.
Right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, like either you qualify or you don't. Like, so how hard is it to do a loan today? Like for most people, it's really not that hard. Doing loans is not the hard part. Getting more leads in the door is the hard part. We are salespeople that happen to know how to put a mortgage together.
Totally.
People have to realize that.
And I think consumers, borrowers, they have no idea about your ability. They think every loan officer is the same. And that is just so powerful. Visibility is more important than ability. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So Tim asked a quick question here, and I think you already answered it. He asked, is it better to talk to the buyer or the agent, right? When you do social media?
So great question, Tim. A lot of my content is agent facing, and a lot of my content is buyer facing, meaning those are the two people I serve. I want to help as many home buyers as I can, and I want to be an amazing partner to my realtors and help and attract and stay in relationship with as many realtors as I can.
Right.
And so I make content for both buckets. So throughout the week, some of the content I share and post, and really I make content for 3 buckets now because I also want to help and empower and teach loan officers, right? Whether they want to work with me or they just want to consume my stuff, and I give it away for free. So I help 3 people and I make content for 3 different categories: buyers, realtors, and loan officers. You guys and gals should make content for buyers and for realtors. So let's jump into the tactic of how we actually do that, right? So I've kind of, I don't know if I've monikered it, but I think I've monikered it. I call it the 3C framework. I consume, I create, and I conversate. Okay. So consume. So guys, this is not like a, like do when you feel like. I do this every single day, no matter what. If I'm on vacation with my family, this is a habit I've owned. You guys like follow me there? Like this is not like some days I'm going to do it, some days I'm not. Like this is a non-negotiable. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I have some coffee, I'm in front of my computer consuming. So what that means to me is I am reading 5 to 6 articles amongst 5 to 6 different websites every single day. Housing Wire, MBS Highway, National Association of Realtors, Inman News, Wall Street Journal. I read local publications in Chicago. I read local publications in Florida. I read things that my consumers are going to read. I read things that my realtor partners are going to read. And I spend 30 to 45 minutes every single day consuming. That's what that means. Right? Now, when I get those articles and I read those posts, or I read these articles, or I see these stats, or I understand the data, then I start to create. What does that mean? That means what's going on and what does it mean to you as a buyer? What's going on and what does it mean to you as a realtor? Right? So for example, the Fed's raising mortgage rates. There's going to be articles and information and headlines and news about that. Your consumers don't understand what's going on. They do not understand what it means for them, what the opportunities are, how it, right? So the point is I take that information and I use Microsoft OneNote, right? You guys can use a Word document. You can use any type of note-taking system. I have literally like a Microsoft OneNote folder, and every single day as I read, I will batch stats. So I have like a stat like page. I'll take stats, home values, right? Interest rates, charts, whatever. Some of it's just articles, some of it's realtor ideas, and I will put them on the shelf for later. And every day after I finish consuming, I spend about 15 to 20 minutes and I think about what I read or what I've recently read and what I want to post that day. And it's not like some magic, like it just comes over time. It's a muscle that I built. Right. Some days I do want to talk about what the Fed's doing. I do want to talk about what housing trends are. I do want to debunk a headline and really explain what that means to a buyer, because remember, the consumer doesn't understand the headline. The headline is meant to draw people in and grab their attention. It's really not meant to educate them. I want to meet my consumer where they're at and I want to educate them. I want them to feel like I've given them more information and like I'm their source of news, right? I want to be their source of news. I want to be their market update. I want to teach my realtor partners what's going on because they don't communicate effectively to their buyers. Right. I want to help them understand like the semantics of certain nuances within our business, within our industry, within our loan products. So they feel more confident that like, not only does Justin do a good job getting my loans done and my clients like him,
Right.
but every single week he sends me an article, a headline, a topic, a marketing idea, a piece of information that I can either forward or take as my own and share with my clients. So I now am more valuable to my clients, right? So that's where people are like, where do you get all this information? I read every single day. And I just take the information, I detangle the headlines, and I decide, should I make a video about this next week? If it is, then I'll put it in my video topic, right? I want to explain what buying points means. I want to explain, right, like what happened with SVB. Some of the stuff is meaty. Other things, I can just take some information, break it down into a quick post. That same piece of content, Paul, I can send out to my clients as a database email. I can send to my realtors as something they can forward along. I can create a video about it. I can go on YouTube for 10 minutes and unpack it. I take it and I just repackage it. Right? So here's the framework for content: hook, story, offer. Hook, story, offer. The offer is like a call to action. So hook, the hook is like your title, right? Fed just raised rates 0.25%. The Fed just raised interest rates the Fed just raised the Fed funds rate 0.25%. That's the hook. That's the first sentence in my post. That's the first word that comes out of my mouth on the video. That's the subject line in my email.
Gotcha.
The Fed just raised rates 0.25%. What does that mean for you? I'm interested now. What does that mean for me? Right? The story is the explanation in a simplified, digestible, layman term articulation, right? Despite, contrary to popular belief, inflation's coming down and the Fed, whatever, right? You get the idea, right? You explain however you want to explain it. And the offer or the call to action is, if you're in the market and you want more information, give me a call, right? If you have more questions about this and you're preparing to buy a home in the next 12 months, give me a call. If you want to strategize or think through something or a plan later this year, give me a call, we can elaborate.
Right.
And that's the same way in my video. That's the same way in my emails to my clients, same thing in my emails to my realtors, same thing in my written posts. When I feel like sometimes I just want to give people information without a call to action. Right. But to elicit transactions, you have to let people know that they should reach out to you. Yeah. If you want to, right?
Right.
Any questions on any of that? It was a lot.
No, that was great. Where my mind is blown is, so I've never, I posted on social media, but I never really just reached out to my pre-approved clients. Like today, my pre-approved clients are getting this information and I'm not sending them any content on what that means to them. Yeah. I really appreciate that. That was,
because
I know that's so simple, but
and it's funny. It's funny because I had that aha moment last year. I'm like, I'm making content for all these people over here that I'm trying to find.
Yes.
I got 2,000 people in my database. I'm like, it took some time. And what I mean by that is I had to process it. And I didn't know until I realized, I'm like, it's not weird or awkward for me to be connected with people on social media that I do business with. It's not.
Right. Totally.
Because then they get to know who I am as a person.
Right.
They get to see a different side of me. Because if you look at my posts, you'll notice that on the weekends, it's family stuff. It's my kids, my dog, my wife, a vacation, right? On Instagram, I'm doing stories. I like to grill. So I'll usually do like my Saturday night sizzle or something, people that like you and have a common denominator with you will do business with you. Wonderful. So they have to know who you are. It's an 80-20 delineation. So if you're going to post 5 days a week, one of them has to be personal, nothing to do with business.
Gotcha.
If you're going to post 3 days a week, same thing. One of them should be personal. People do business with people they like, and then they start to build trust with them by the consistency, but they have to have some type of connection to you to know you're a human. Right. And that you're, you know what I mean? Like you have the same things going on in your life that they do. And you're like, oh, this is a normal guy.
Yeah. So you start your videos off with the subject, the hook. You don't, a lot of people always start off like, hey, this is Paul Olbrantz, Clear to Close Brokers. Yeah. And like, I already, I do that out of habit. And when people do that to me, I just swipe, right? Because it's like,
it is the number one killer of attention.
Got you. All right.
We know you're just hopping on here. Hey, it's Justin. I'm just hopping on here. No shit. I see you. Like, I know you're hopping on here.
Yeah.
Why do you have to tell me you're hopping on here? Like, it's funny, but it's not, right? Like,
Right.
and when you think about it, you're like, why do I? And then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I say that. Right. But you just don't know until you know. And I didn't know until I did, until someone taught me. Right. But yes, you start, the first words out of your mouth are the hook, because the average attention span is between 1 and 3 seconds. If you don't catch someone's attention in the first 1 to 3, really like 2 seconds, next reel, next video, next whatever, because that's when they make a decision. Do I want to listen to what this person's saying? The general attention span of our society is shrinking by the day, meaning there's a reason like reels are only 45 to 60 seconds. No one would watch them if they were longer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's like 3 mistakes to avoid as a first-time home buyer. If I'm a first-time home buyer, hot damn, I want to avoid those mistakes. I'm going to listen to this guy versus, hey, my name is Justin Lopatin with Guarantee Rate. I just wanted to hop on. Dude, what? Like, what are you talking about? What's Guarantee Rate? Like, who are you? Next.
Done.
Right?
So you post every day? Is that what you recommend?
Yeah. Over the last year, Amir and I had committed about a year ago to post every single day, 365 days in a row.
Oh my God.
Because if you can do one little thing consistently for an entire year, it will change your life. Yeah. It will change your life. That's beautiful. If you can do it in your business life, in your personal life, if you can go to the gym every day, right? Like, you get the point. If you can put a piece of content up.
Well, that's a great analogy.
5 days a week.
Right.
After 6 months, it will change your business.
Right.
100%. And so that's what I said. Like, it's a non-negotiable for me. So I wake up earlier, which I don't like, and I do it between 5:30 and 6:30, because if I don't do it then, I will not do it later in the day. It's too reactive. There's too much going on. So it's part of my schedule. I wake up before I hear the word dad. I have a quick cup of coffee. I get my brain working. Yeah. I have a bookmark, like on your Chrome browser, news. I drop the bookmark down. I have like 10 to 12 sites, right? Every single platform, Tim. I'm on every platform now, but it takes time. And I'm literally just perusing. I'm reading. I'm looking at different articles, reading one, paraphrase or just skim it. I like this one. I don't like this one. I like this one. And it takes me 30 minutes, and I just embrace it. I like it. And at the end of consuming and creating, right, I'm able to post something. So, but this was a progression. 2 years ago, I had 500 followers on Instagram, and it was like my phone leaning against a coffee cup, talking into it, like at my desk. And then like 6 months later, I'm like, whoa, I'm onto something here. Yeah. Like, I need to level up. So I bought a tripod, and I put my phone on a phone stand, and now I can like talk and use my hands, because I like to talk like this and get a little more animated. And then I'm like, whoa, like, how are these other guys and gals doing these really high quality videos with words on the bottom and like images? So I went online and I found freelancers. There's 2 websites you can find freelancers, Upwork and Fiverr. Yep. Fivver or Fiver, whatever it is. You can literally hire someone in like Malaysia, and send them your videos from your iPhone that you record, and just Dropbox them over to them, and they will edit them for like $5 to $15 a video.
Now, do you do like a day of videos where you create like a whole bunch of them and then just send them off to get edited, or is it literally one?
So the progression was like phase 3. Phase 1 was phone on leaning on the cup. Phase 2 was like iPhone stand, so I could move around and be animated. Phase 3 was an editor, right? And that's when I started batching content creation. Gotcha. So once a week, just like I don't take one shirt to the dry cleaner, I take 10 at the end of the week. Yeah. I'll shoot 10 videos once a week, because some of them end up sucking and I don't want to post them, right? And some of them I'm like, oh God, I hate the way this sounds, or this didn't go well. So I'll shoot 10 every week, and I'll send and then I'd send them to an editor. Gotcha. Now I've invested in a full-time retainer for a video producer and a production team. And now I want them professionally edited. I want a cool microphone. I want the quality of the audio and the camera to be like as legit as it gets, because I want to make a better impression, and I've reaped benefits from it. And so I every 6 months, like, I've leveled up. And so I've cut costs like Zillow and all these other stupid stuff that I was doing, but I didn't cut costs. I reinvested those costs into my own brand and into building my own business.
Right. I got to tell you, it's worked. Yeah.
But that was the progression over like 2 years. And once the quality and the consistency got better, at some point there was just a tipping point where like I became an authority, meaning like I was the most visible person in like my market talking about mortgage lending and helping realtors and
Yeah.
like 5 steps for home buyers to be aware of. And I flooded the market, and my following grew, and then people reached out to me,
Yeah.
and realtors are DMing me and they're sharing my videos, and it's completely changed the dynamic of how I build my business now, because I'm already warm. It's no longer a cold call, it's a warm call,
Right.
you know. And so the last C is conversate. So
Yeah.
consume, create, conversate.
Mm-hmm.
After I finish consuming and creating, so this all takes me about an hour, by the way, 30 minutes of reading, a little bit of time to, but initially it may have taken me 90 minutes to 2 hours, but I've gotten it down because I do it every day. For the last 15 to 20 minutes, I go on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram every single day, and I engage with every single person that likes or comments my photo.
Nice.
The worst thing you can do is create and then not conversate.
Yes.
Right? So I heart and I comment, and then I heart and I comment on 5 other people's posts, on realtors I like and I want to work with, on new people, and then I'll follow new people. So I live in Delray Beach, like Boca Raton, Delray Beach. So every single day I'll go online and I'll Google like Coldwell Banker, Delray Beach, ad property, Compass, Boca Raton, and I'll just start following realtors on Facebook and Instagram. And then they see me and they follow me back. They're like, this guy's legit. He's
Right.
putting out stuff. Like, they check me out, right? And then all of a sudden the next day it's like 5 follow backs. I'm like, oh, and then I'll like and heart a bunch of their stuff. They'll like and heart a bunch of my stuff. And I'll say, hey, Jackie, big fan of your page. Hey, Justin, big fan of your page. I say, hey, this is all in the DM. We should connect. Maybe there's a way I can support you, or maybe we can collaborate. Next day I have a Zoom call. I got a new realtor I'm working with. They have to leave my desk.
Wow. That sounds really easy. I'm missing the
It
boat on that
is
one,
over
man.
time, but that's
Right.
the power of social selling.
Yeah. And I will say, just in my limited experience, so what I do, and I got to do much more, because I'm starting to be the conversion of the modern loan officer. Like, I'm converting, right? Is every Monday I send out a realtor email with the rates and information and stuff, and they really like it.
Yeah.
And when I have a listing agent or a new agent that's on that list, when I do talk to them, they do recognize who I am, and it does change the dynamics. Now, if I just take it one step further and start engaging on social media like that, complimenting them socially, hearting, I can just definitely see
So
how that
here's where it comes together, Paul.
Uh-huh.
You nailed it. Phone calls, right? Everyone's working a list of realtors.
Yep.
I'm not calling the same realtors every week, but every week I'm calling, let's say 10 to 20 realtors, right? They're getting calls from me let's say every other week. They're getting an email from me every week. I do a Monday market update just like you. They're seeing my content on social media every day.
Yes.
They might come to an event I host every quarter.
Yes.
Dude, I'm everywhere. I'm omnipresent, right? And because I'm so consistent, and it's not because I'm like a rocket science. Half of you probably know more about loans than I do, right? Like, I'm so visible that they trust me. And when the market was slow and that they get that one buyer and they're like, man, I want this buyer to convert. I want them to be with the right person. They think of me. Like, this guy knows what he's talking about because I'm always talking about it. And I've increased my credibility and my trust because I'm more visible psychologically. And now I have better rapport than maybe the other loan officers are like, I want to get this guy to Justin because I know he's going to do a great job. He explains everything in these videos. This person needs explanations. You know what I mean?
I do. I think loan officers overestimate how much realtors know. They truly know very little about us.
They love the videos that I make for consumers because they learn at the same. No one teaches you how to be a great realtor. You take a test about a bunch of RESPA jargon compliance.
Yep.
And then you're like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go show some homes. They barely know their business. You think they know our business?
I have no idea.
No offense, but it's the truth.
Oh yeah. My favorite is like, okay, we get in a contract. Can we get docs out like next week or tomorrow or something like that? It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And this is an opportunity to really educate them without them knowing that, letting anybody else know we're educating. Does that make sense? I love 100%. This. I love
the beauty of the content is that it's really multifaceted. Right. Because the more I can talk to a home buyer, the more credibility I have with the realtor. Right. The more I can explain something to a home buyer, the more I teach the realtor. Right. It's a win-win. I mean, it's like a Trojan horse. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the more content I make for home buyers, the more realtors are attracted to that because they're learning and they like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we had, that's wonderful. Now, when you go through your Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday progression and stuff, do you have certain platforms you put the video on? Is it like, for me, and
Yeah.
this is ridiculous, I get it, but on Monday it's Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And that's pretty much the last day I'll hit LinkedIn. And I know that's a mistake, but like, do you hit all 3 or 4, whatever ones you
Yeah.
do every
So
day?
again, it was a progression.
Okay.
Started just doing reels on Instagram,
Okay.
and then eventually started putting them on Facebook, and then TikTok, and then YouTube Shorts. We
Mhm.
don't put videos on Instagram on YouTube because it's not like a video platform. But now that we have someone helping us, but before, I did it with my marketing person. It just took more time. But the message should be in front of everybody. And remember, most of your audience doesn't see it, it's other people. So the answer is yes, I put the same videos or the reels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
YouTube
The
Shorts.
same exact video goes on each platform. And then my written posts, you see a lot of the stuff that like the tactics and the ideas and the
Mhm.
updates that I just write out that are just like short written posts. Those go on Facebook, LinkedIn, and that's it. Because people read,
Right.
everything else is picture or video based. But you can just write and post ideas and updates and synopsis and just summaries on Facebook and LinkedIn. So every single day a video goes out, and then every single day I also write something and post something.
Gotcha. So as we get to the last 10 minutes here, guys, if you guys have questions, start chiming them in, because I do want to talk about Growth Only Academy, or Growth Only, excuse me.
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna
can't
drop
read.
my, you can
Please.
just look me up. I mean, that's like a weird thing to say, but you could just Google my name on Facebook, and then I'll drop my IG handle here really quick for you guys. Just
There you go, Bob. That's what
follow me.
Bob was just asking. Where can we see your videos? Can we?
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it, just so Bob can see, just so everyone can see it here.
There you go. So I can tell you, the Loan Officer Academy, I really, what I am is a community, and I'm trying to create this community where people, as you kind of were talking to in the beginning, are not alone. A lot of brokers are out there. They work out of their own shop. They don't have the group, the camaraderie. And that's what this is all about. And I'm really trying to help new loan officers get, start their business and get where we've gotten. This is a great way to earn a living.
Yeah.
People are starving for help, though. I will say this: they need guidance. I see a lot of posts, not just in this group, but other groups. How long does it take to get your first deal? People came in, the last 2 years, they're really had the wrong impression of what lending is. It's not just answering the phone saying yes and taking an application.
Yeah.
It's a strategy. It takes a lot of effort. And I think Growth Only Academy is, or I keep saying that, I keep reading my own name. Growth Only is an amazing platform. Who do you coach? What's your ideal candidate? Where do you guys specialize?
Yeah. So right now we started the company with 2 focal groups. We have an accelerator and an elite category, if you will. So right now we have 2 programs. The accelerator program is our most common. That's for people that are, maybe doing 3 to 5 loans a month here or there. They're trying to get to 10 to 12. They don't have any systems. They don't have any structure. They don't have any team members. They're doing less than 100 loans a year. Some months are good. Some months are bad, very inconsistent. And they just need a ton of direction, a ton of structure. They need sales scripting. They need, strategies about content. They need to know how to meet with a realtor and close. They need to know how to run a professional pre-approval call, run a professional rate lock call, host an event, all those different sales tactics and strategies.
Right.
We want to get them from ebb and flow, 2-3 deals a month or nothing, to like 8 to 10 deals a month, 30 to 40 referrals every month, and about 100+ deals a year. That's our accelerator program.
Sounds amazing.
Our elite program is for people that are usually doing about 100+ deals or more. They have 1 team member in LOA. They want to get past 50 million, get the income over 500K, and really start to grow the business without increasing your time to 80 hours a week. Because at some point you learn sales, you learn how to get leads in the door, and then it's how do you scale? How do you go from a food truck to a diner to a restaurant and have an LOA, a processor, a marketing person, to where you can keep the business building without sucking away your life, and being able to go on vacation without bringing your laptop and sitting in the hotel room banging out pre-approvals on Saturday while your family's at the pool. That's the elite program. And we also coach like producing branch managers and like folks that are like recruiting.
Right.
The one that we're rolling out in the next 90 days is going to be one of the more common coaching, like, structures where it's a lower monthly commitment, right? It's not cheap to work with us, right? And we can't coach everybody. We don't want to coach everybody. Like, we're still loan officers producing at a high level, overseeing a branch.
Right.
So, we're specific, and that's why we have those two groups. We don't want to teach people the business of like how to put a loan together. We want to teach you how to grow your business. Like, you have to know the language, or you have to know the alphabet. I can't teach you the alphabet, right? But I can tighten up the language. The next one we're rolling out in the next 90 days is going to be more of like a entry level, no accountability, bunch of modules. So our coaching is high accountability. It's a bi-weekly call. You're on a group call for 6 months, and you have to submit sales activity with a lot of accountability. It's like a hardcore personal trainer. The entry level one that we're rolling out is like, here's your personal training program for the next 6 months. I hope you do it. You can come and pick anything you want. Here's the whole menu of stuff. It's all evergreen video module, like PDFs, playbooks, sales scripts, and you're going to get one group call a month to do Q&A, but it's going to be at a more affordable price for people that are newer to the business, because that's where the largest market of like the largest quantity of people that reach out to us are like, hey, I'm not quite ready for this level of coaching, but I need to get there. What do you have? And right now we don't have that. But now that we've been up and running for almost 18 months, we're comfortable building it out because we have a full digital, I think I showed you, or maybe Amir showed you, we have a full digital platform where it's accessible tools and videos and modules. And we didn't want to roll it out till we had all that for people, so they got what they were expecting.
Amazing. I love that. So someone's asking pricing. It's totally up to you. I prefer, I don't, if I were you, I'd probably want people to connect with me and just talk about it, because I think every level is different, but it's totally up to you, Justin.
Yeah. It's definitely something that we can talk about offline, because we have different options of payment based on the pricing. And so it's a little bit more conversational.
Yeah. And I got to tell everybody that's listening to this, my career, and I'm being dead serious here, my career went from here to here the moment I committed to coaching. It's like there's something about being obligated to make a payment. It makes you more
when you pay attention.
Do the work. Yeah, you're doing the work, right?
We all have a good idea of what to do.
Totally.
But we need someone to crack the whip, show us how to do it, when to do it, and 100%. How to do it better over and over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
Because it's human nature to cut corners when no one's watching. It just is. And Paul, the same thing happened to me, man. That's why I plateaued for 2 years straight until I eventually just submitted to someone who said, this is what you're going to do. Get out of your own way and just start doing more sales activity. Because at the end of the day, we have to, everything we do is to generate leads, right? I mean, that's literally everything we do.
Right.
Our lead flow or lack thereof is directly correlated to the quantity of sales activity we're doing. Yeah. So we need to know how much quantity we should be doing, and then we need to improve the quality of it so we can increase our lead flow, increase our conversion. And it's just, brick by brick, you just start building a foundation so then you can really build a business.
Yeah.
And it's not rocket science. It's not like some secret stuff. It's a lot of the fundamentals with a touch of the modern approach like we discussed.
Yeah. And when you commit, here's my favorite example I love to give to people about coaching. And I've spent a tremendous amount of money on coaching. Is I did this thing called Business Mastery with Tony Robbins. It cost me $10,000 to go, 6 days, $10,000. I went there and it completely changed my life. I mean, I'm talking, it was the greatest event I've ever been to. And I can account for more changes from that 6 days than probably any other event in my life. So what I decided to do, I decided to get it virtual and host it for a bunch of my friends to come and join. They went for free. Do you know what their reaction was? It was okay. It was all right.
They didn't pay. Yeah.
They were going to go get coffee, come back a couple hours. It's just a different mindset.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Listen, it's what I've realized is that when no one's watching us and there's no accountability, like we're in no man's land. And again, it's just human nature to not do more. Like if no one's meeting you at the gym at 6 a.m. and you don't feel like going, you're not going to go.
Yeah.
And it's just funny, but we have to put these mechanisms, these bumper lanes on the bowling alley.
Yep.
Because here's the deal, and we'll finish with this. If you're driven you can't not be driven and be in this business.
Right.
You have to be driven. You have to be money motivated. You have to be willing to take the good months or the good years with the bad years, right? Or the bad ones with the good ones. But you still need direction.
Right.
You need to know what play to run, what works. And the fastest way to accelerate your growth is learning from people who have already accomplished what you want to achieve, right? And I say that because that's how I accelerated my growth. That's how I went from 25 to 50 million in 2 years. And then from there, I was able to learn more from people that did 100 million.
Yeah.
I can't learn how to get to 100 million if you've never done 100 million. How can you teach me? Right? So I went and found the people that are doing 100 million and I learned from them. And it's like, why would I walk through this maze of like this forest when someone already took a machete and he's like, no, just go that way. This is the path. Like, go right down that way. I'm like, okay, you already did it. Like, I'll pay you and I'll 10x that investment. And remember, when we learn skills, like they don't just evaporate. It's an investment. It's not an expense. And those skills will be with us forever. You cannot take those away from you, from me. I know these skills and I just master them every week, every month, over and over and over again, you know?
Yep. 100%, man. Justin, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. It was great to be here. Great to meet all you guys. Bob, I do post about my personal life too, because I want people to be connected to me and understand that I'm a human, I'm a dad, I'm a husband. I like to, walk my dog. I like to go to the beach. I like to play golf. So as I mentioned earlier, when people know you and can identify with you, they're more likely to feel comfortable and learn from you and eventually transact with you over time.
Come on, Bob. Sizzling Saturdays. I remember that. Isn't that what you call it? Sizzling Saturdays?
Me?
Yeah.
Saturday night sizzle. My Saturday night sizzle. Yeah.
There it is, dude. That's
So
awesome.
if I got a steak on the grill or something, or I'm grilling with the kids, or I got a smoker, I'm doing some ribs or something, I'll just, I'll just do a little story. People see my kids. Oh, your kids are so cute. And the next day it's like 3 reasons why you should do X, they're like, oh my gosh, this is great information,
Yeah. The second thing that changed my life besides Tony Robbins in the core was getting a Traeger. That was absolutely amazing. A Traeger?
Yeah, I have a Rectech. So it's the sister version of the pellet smoker.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I love it, man. Low and slow. It's like the poor man's, it's like the lazy man's smoker. You set it and forget it.
That's it.
Andre doesn't like that, huh? You like the big green egg, man?
No, you got to go with the pit barrel smoker, dude. Pit barrel.
Okay. Labor intensive, man. I'm all about efficiency. I'm all about efficiency, man. Cool. Awesome, last minute. Anything else I could answer for anybody?
So I'm going to put growth only information in the group. They have your contact information. Anyone can reach out to you. This is going to be in the group record if you want to replay it. Man, Justin, I really appreciate your time, man. That was awesome.
My pleasure, guys. It was nice to meet everyone. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. Take care, bud.